Well, after years and years of backlash for its lack of diversity, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, it seems to be making good on one of its promises to double the amount of minority and female members. Here is the buzz. Since the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite movement of 2016, the Academy has invited more than 800 female and minority members. And about half of that total were from outside the U.S. Now, if all invitees are accepted, they will make up about 10% of the total membership. The coronavirus pushed back next year's voting by 2 months. And as more people begin to travel, airlines are getting more and more serious about their mask requirements. Several companies are considering upgrading their cameras to detect people who aren't wearing them. It comes as many have struggled to enforce their COVID-19 rules. No word yet if any airlines here at Jacksonville International Airport are considering adding the technology. And there are a couple of big films coming out in the summertime, but let's just say you don't feel comfortable sitting in the theater just yet. Walmart seems to be getting into the movie business. You want to check this out. The nation's biggest retailer is transforming 160 of its parking lots into drive-in theaters this summer. The company says family-friendly showings will run from August to October. And what is a movie without popcorn? Sometimes that's the best part of the experience, right? You'll be able to grab snacks from their curbside concession stand if you happen to choose to go out there and catch one of those films.